Well, hi, my name is Shannon Blas, and I am back with Dr. Megen McBride, and I am so excited that we get to have this chat today just about midlife, hormones. Why the heck do I feel the way I do? I have been personally working with you and have seen such improvements in how I'm feeling in my labs and all those things. So we're just going to come and talk a little bit about midlife and what happens. What happens with your hormones? Just kind of give us a general overview of what's going on when you're not feeling like yourself.
I think it's so important to understand that when we traditionally say hormones, we're only thinking of a sex hormones, or we're thinking of maybe some people will go into thyroid hormones. But what's important to understand is that every single hormone affects every system of the body, every system. So, depending on what particular imbalance you may be experiencing, it's going to have a mental impact. It's going to have an energetic impact. Your adrenals are going to be managing your sugar, your sodium, your minerals, and so it's truly holistic medicine. Functional medicine is really coming in to better help an individual understand that impact. Because when you say I don't feel quite like myself, what you're saying is that there's multiple things happening in my body right now. I'm really shifting. I'm shifting, and to understand that shift takes a very holistic approach.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what happens is we think we feel a certain way. And then as we age, all these hormones are shifting and adjusting. If we've had babies or we're at a certain stage of life, like some women go into perimenopause as early as what age?
35.
35.
35 is when the estrogen starts coming down, and when progesterone is much more impacted by stress and fatigue.
And
Yeah.
what's interesting is you kind of notice sometimes if you go to your regular doctor and they say everything is fine, what do you look for? Like if someone comes to you and says, I don't feel like myself, I'm not sure what's going on, I'm just overly tired, or I'm not sleeping well, or I just feel more anxious, or I'm just more moody, or I'm gaining weight, or, whatever the thing is, all of us know there's a list. But where do you start with someone?
So foundational labs are so important for me to understand a foundation in nutritional value, so I can see, where are your B vitamins at, where's your iron, where's your minerals, where your electrolytes are at. That's going to help me understand your vital organs and how they're being supported in the body, how they're able to perform their function optimally. Another thing is that if someone is making huge shifts, especially as women, but men as well, we're fluctuating through the month. We're fluctuating with our hormones in a particular way. And then when we shift, what happens is that we have ancillary systems that are going to come in and kind of replace the hormone management of the body. The adrenals are going to come in and really shift that for us. The nervous system, the brain is going to shift in its chemical pathways as well to kind of give us support. In other words, our cortisol rhythm, our insulin rhythms, these are going to shift for us. And I tell my clients a lot, your brain can't call you up and say, this is why I'm anxious. Or, you know what, I know you've been depressed for the last 2 weeks. This is what I'm missing. I'm missing this nutrient, or I'm missing that. So foundationally, when I first see a client, I need to get a really broad understanding of their general foundational health. Then we can start going down into the pathway of saying, is this digestion? Is this endocrine system, hormone? Is this neurological? Is this a nervous system, neurotransmitter situation? And of course, holistic medicine, like I said, it affects everything. But we can generally rebalance someone into a really beautiful space, because I think women, we anticipate that there's going to be adjustments. We anticipate that there's going to be a ride in this experience. What we don't anticipate is the rug getting completely pulled out from underneath us. And that can happen with a loss, a shock, an immune shock, an infection of some kind. Maybe there's an illness, or even I've seen where food poisoning or loss of a loved one can set what was a balanced, natural perimenopausal, menopausal system and then just flip it on its head for someone where the body just can't absorb that impact as kindly, as compassionately as maybe it had in the past.
That's interesting. I never really thought about that, that like an actual incident can trigger your body because again, is that with the cortisol and the adrenals and everything kind of getting out of whack, and then it just doesn't come back into balance.
It
Oh,
just needs a little friend. It needs help. It
yeah.
needs help because what we're trying to do, as we age, we're kind of, there's a little wear and tear in the digestive system. There's a little wear and tear in the liver. Maybe the liver's not operating optimally, or the adrenals. You've been really getting some insulin resistance, some cortisol spikes. Maybe melatonin's not doing its thing, and supporting sleep, the sleep-wake cycle. And so, yeah, when you get a jolt, it's just this sense of getting out of balance and then getting stuck there to where either you're lacking nutrients or you're lacking compassion in the body. And I say compassion because sometimes it is just stepping back, having grace, reassessing, renourishing, and replenishing, and then moving forward. But the body's very smart, very capable once it's given what it needs.
Yeah. Okay. So my last question is, what is the most common like treatment that you tend to do? Like, what is like some of the first steps that people want to take when they start going into perimenopause and they start noticing their hormones change?
Um, I would say labs. I mean, I'm a data-driven doctor. I think most functional integrative doctors are. Of course, there's a very extensive intake, a medical history, a family history, understanding a type of, even a genetic type of history. But with all the words, I have found that labs will unveil very distinct needs that need to be addressed that a conversation couldn't have told me. And so for me, I do maybe put them on equal footing where I get that really great history, but then I need those labs as well to just validate that this person isn't in an acute anemic, acute hypothyroid, acute. I mean, I have clients that have absolutely no testosterone in their body, and because of it, frozen shoulder, joint pain, and so there's just things where you got to rule it out, and that's just takes a broad laboratory panel to do that.
And, just to conclude, I feel like you've said that. And I think a good way to kind of put into words what you've said to me is that every person is a unique puzzle. And so if you're starting to feel this way where you're not feeling like yourself, you're having all these symptoms, and someone just gives you like, oh, you should take some estrogen, or you should take, they kind of give you this blanket diagnosis or just this general thing to start taking, don't do that, you guys, because you don't know exactly what's going on in your body. So I think we'll end with this. There is a reason why you are feeling the way you're feeling. And so you need to get to the bottom of why those feelings are coming up. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, check below and you will see information on how to get a hold of Dr. McBride. And I'm sure you have other, local naturopaths, functional medicine doctors in your area, but don't settle for this is just how you're supposed to feel, or this is normal, or you're making this up. If you don't feel like yourself, you don't feel like yourself, and we can get to the bottom of it. So thank you so much. I appreciate your information.
You're welcome.